Hey everybody and welcome to this video. I'm Laura123 and this is going to be a book themed video. So normally when I do book themed videos I mention a few different books. You know, for example, if it's a book haul there'll be a few books to talk about, or if it's a weekly reading vlog I'll be talking about the books that I read that week, etc. But this book video is going to be about literally one book. Yes, just one book. The focus of this video is all about one book, and that book is The Assignment. So this is a hardback book, as you can see. I do like my hardback books. So it's by a lovely author called Liza Wiemer, and I can honestly say this book is sensational. It's amazing. It's thought-provoking. It gives me like the feels, like I really connected to it and felt, and just so many emotions whilst reading this book, and learnt a lot as well. So I'm going to tell you about the book in a moment. But I just really want to kind of spread the word about this book, get it out there, use my little platform here on YouTube to promote it. And I want to say thank you to the lovely author, Liza, because I messaged her on Instagram and we ended up having this lovely conversation about the book and other things. And she was so sweet and so lovely. And, you know, being a complete bookworm that I am, I get proper like fangirl if an author, you know, even likes a tweet that I do, let alone like, you know, has a conversation with me. It's really exciting for me. So thank you, if you're watching, for being so lovely and kind and opening up and talking to me and stuff. So I really do recommend everyone that you check out this book, buy it, read it, embrace it, feel it, and learn from it. It's a really, really good book. So yeah, I will be telling you about it in a moment, but before I do, I just want to kind of tell you how I first heard about it and stuff. So basically, I love Instagram. My favorite part of Instagram is going on hashtag Bookstagram. Basically, people put lots of different pictures of books they've read and things, or they're currently reading, and I go on these pages and I get so many like ideas for books that I want to read. And basically, I was scrolling through one day, so you can either put in like hashtag Bookstagram, or you know, hashtag reading, hashtag books, hashtag fiction, that kind of thing. Anyway, so I was looking at this page and I saw a picture, obviously, of the front cover of The Assignment. At that point I didn't know anything, you know, what it was about. I just saw this, you know, illustration of the students sitting in, you know, obviously, you know, in class. Apart from this one here, he's like standing up, and I saw this at the top and it said, "Would you speak up for what is right?" And I was just drawn to it. They say you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, I know, but I do sometimes. If I'm drawn to a cover, I'll definitely pick it up and, you know, read about it, etc. So yeah, that was that. And then I thought, oh, sounds like a book I would definitely want to read, without a doubt. Okay, I really wanted to read it, but then I had problems getting it. Now, it's really frustrating. Being in the United Kingdom, we tend to get books a lot later than America. And I watch a lot of booktubers who are American, and as I say, I go on Instagram and stuff and see books mentioned, and I can't get them. You know, it's either a case of you have to wait months and months and months for them to come out in the UK, or sometimes they don't even come out here at all, which is awful. But, you know, I thought, I'm not going to let this book go. This is a book that I need. I have to have it. I you know, wanted it. So, cut long story short, I tried all different methods to try and get the book. I tried to get people to order it in at certain bookshops, etc. They couldn't. So in the end, I actually found it on eBay. So I did have to pay a little bit extra because it wasn't from the United Kingdom. They had to like ship it in. It took about a week or so, which was quite good actually. I thought it was going to take longer, so I was like, oh, got a parcel. It's The Assignment, so that was cool. And I just, yeah, I really, you know, literally felt like I had to read this book. I was just drawn to it, right? And I can honestly say, without a doubt, and I read so many books, as you all know, if you're a regular viewer, this book has, without a doubt, been one of the best books I've ever read. And that's a big thing for me to say. It was just so good. And it was so raw and so emotional and so thought-provoking. And I just wish more people, and I hope this video helps a little bit at least, you know, would read this book. This, you know, it needs to have, you know, this book needs to be out there, it needs to have a lot of attention. It needs people to read it, and, you know, I hope they do. I hope you do. So, yeah, I'm going to read to you what it's about. And once again, thank you to the lovely author for writing such a beautiful book that I feel that she was destined to write. I think some books are just destined to be wrote, and that person is destined to write it. Does that make sense? I don't know. Right, I'm going to put my glasses on. Okay, so this is the assignment. And I'll read to you what it is about, okay? So it says, senior year, when an assignment given by a favourite teacher instructs a group of students to argue for the final solution, a euphemism for the Nazi plan of genocide of the Jewish people. Logan March and Cade Crawford, who, by the way, I loved both of their characters, are horrified. Their teacher cannot seriously expect anyone to complete an assignment that fuels intolerance and discrimination. Logan and Cade decide they must make a stand. As the school administration addresses the teens' refusal to participate in the appalling debate, the student body, their parents, and the larger community are forced to face the issue as well. The situation explodes into, I can never say this word, sorry, acrimony, is that right? Acrimony, and anger. What will it take for tolerance, justice, and love to prevail? Whew. So it's quite a hard-hitting story. It's a raw story. It's very touching, as I say, in parts. It says here it's in the vein of the classic The Wave. This riveting novel explores discrimination and anti-Semitism and reveals their dangerous impact. Inspired by a true incident, the assignment will remind readers that they have choices and that their choices can make a difference. So true, that line. We all have choices, and sometimes people want to say something about something, but they feel like they can't or they shouldn't. But I wish they could. If more people stood up, you know, for the good in life, for the good people, then we can fight the hate. You know, we can get our choices and our thoughts out there. So obviously, as I say, about anti-Semitism, for me, I am Jewish. I've always been, you know, on the channel very open about being Jewish. And, you know, I've got the old Star of David necklace on here with pride. And, you know, I think people always, you know, tease me because I always go, oh, you always say how you're Jewish. You always go on about being Jewish on your channel. And I do always say it. And you know why that is? Because I'm really proud. I'm really proud to say that I'm from a Jewish family. I'm really proud of my Jewish roots, Jewish heritage. But back in the day, it wasn't always like that for me. And that's something that was covered in the book. You know, you feel like you have to hide your religion sometimes because of fear, because of worry how, you know, people will respond to you. And there was something actually that I read, as I say, in the author's notes. Oh, by the way, here's a photo of the author. She's so beautiful. Look at that lady. You are beautiful. Lovely hair. Lovely hair, lovely face. But she's a beautiful girl. But I'm just going to get to the part here. Hold on. There was something that really, really made me sad that she'd said. Hold on, I've got to find this. No, that's the last chapter. Just looking for the author's notes. Hold on. Oh, this is it, yes. So this is a note from the author. And if you do get the book, which I hope you do, please make sure you read this, because it is really a personal, like, it literally felt like I was reading a diary or something. It wasn't just, oh, thank you to this one, thank you to that one. There is that as well, by the way, obviously, but this part of the note is literally personal. And she actually starts it, dear reader. I'm not going to read all of this, by the way, but just a little bit. And it says, dear reader, a question that has been important to me is this: can you be proud of your heritage, your faith, your identity, yet also have a strong need to protect or hide yourself from the outside world? And she's saying this is something she experienced. She's a Jewish lady, so Jewish sister for me. And she said she'd often lived and struggled with this kind of, you know, thought process. And then she goes on to say about something that happened to her when she was younger. So when she was a little girl, she was, hold on, I recall. Oh, so she was 8 years old. And this lady asked her, just come up to her and said, what are you? What are you? And she went, a girl? And the lady turned around and said, no, are you Italian? Are you Greek, Spanish? And she said, at the time, I couldn't quite grasp the full extent of the bias and racism behind her question. The olive skin, big brown eyes, nose bump I inherited from the men on my father's side. stranger's asking something similar. So anyway, so she's turned around and said, I'm American. The woman shook her head. What is your name? She said. And she replied, Liza Goldberg. Ah, you're Jewish. Her voice held disdain. I saw disgust as the woman pulled her daughter away. And I read that part, and I had tears in my eyes reading that, because I could literally see that happening. You know, you're just a little girl, you don't know anything, you know, and just being you, you know. And there's this horrible lady being quite inquisitive of what faith you are and stuff, and then finding out you're Jewish and going, right, come on, get away from her. And I could literally visualise that happening, and it was just awful. It's so sad. She also goes on to say about bullying that she experienced. She grew up in an American town where there wasn't that many Jewish people, and she was very badly bullied, horrible things, which I'm not going to repeat on this video because I can't even say them words online. You know, put in her desk, said to her, etc. So, you know, I kind of, as I say, kind of connected with her and thought about me and my identity as being Jewish. And that's where I get to where I was getting at before, is that when I was younger, I wouldn't say ashamed. I wasn't ashamed. I was never ashamed. But I was just, a little bit kind of apprehensive. I was scared of people finding out that I was Jewish, my family were Jewish. Now, can I just say, I'm not full on religious. I'm definitely not Orthodox Jew. I'm not, a practicing full-on religious Jew. And to sit here and say that I would be a lie, and I'm not going to do that. However, I do like learning about Judaism, and I think there's so much more that I need to learn and want to learn. I'm very proud of my culture, my heritage. I love celebrating the festivals. I try and go to synagogue a bit. I don't go too much because you know why I don't go to synagogue too much? It's because I always feel a bit kind of, I don't know, like awkward. I go in all on my own. I don't know anybody, and they're quite cliquey. But I go for a spiritual thing, and I get my spiritualness out of going, but I never feel like I'm part of that group because I don't know anyone. Anyway, but so I just wanted to kind of point out, I'm not like full on religious, but I wear my Star of David with pride. I'll always tell everyone now I'm Jewish. And obviously I know a bit about bits and pieces, things we have to do, things we shouldn't do, etc. So when I was younger, I remember my grandma, and this is something that come up in the book, which I'm also going to say about the family thing in a minute. But yeah, my grandma used to say to me, don't tell people you're Jewish, Laura, at school. This is like when I was really young. Don't tell people you're Jewish because they'll hate you. They'll be nasty to you. You don't want any abuse. You don't want bullying. She was just genuinely scared. You think of my grandma was obviously a different generation completely. She'd been through the war, etc. And she'd seen things with her family when she was younger as well. So she was always very cautious of me telling anyone. And if ever I'd get close to like a guy or even like a friend, like a close friend, she'd say, do they know you're Jewish? You haven't told them, have you? And I was like, no. And then I think when I eventually started telling a few people, she's like, oh, how are they with you? Are they okay? Like genuine fear in her, like it was installed that she was so frightened for herself, and she was also frightened for me to tell people. So from an early age, I was always having that fear that if people found out I was Jewish, they'd hate me, they'd be horrible to me. And sadly, I knew, like, there's one Jewish girl at my college, and she was the only one who was kind of open about her religion, our religion, and she would get such horrible things said to her, done to her. They used to say really horrible, nasty things to her. They used to throw money at her. It was really awful. It was like pure bullying. And I saw that, and I was like, even when I got older, I was like, I'm not saying anything, because I was just scared. I was scared of experiencing that kind of thing. So yeah, it only got to a point. The only time when it was like a turning point in my life when I kind of wanted to be openly Jewish and embrace it and wear my necklace and everything, was sadly when my grandma passed away 7 years ago now. And I don't know, something clicked in me. Like seriously, it clicked in me that I wanted to feel closer to her, I wanted to connect to her, and it did give me comfort. At a time where I was very depressed, obviously, I was very close to my grandma. I found God as such. I found religion. I found that by wearing a Star of David and by watching Jewish documentaries, by listening to Jewish music, learning about Judaism, like studying it, made me have comfort and a connection to my grandma and feel really proud. And also feel really angry that I kind of kept it a secret for so long, because it's nothing to be ashamed of. You should be proud. Like, whatever religion you are watching this, even if you're atheist, you know, be proud of you. Always be proud of who you are. Don't hide things and keep things private. And this is the thing. In this book, this amazing book, The Assignment, you know, one of the characters, his grandparents are just such a lovely couple. And I'm not going to sort of say too much about the story. Don't worry, I'm not going to give any spoilers away because I want you to read it. They're such a lovely couple, and you kind of get to know their history of what they experienced. They were from Poland, and what they experienced in Poland and stuff, and the horrors that they saw involving, you know, Jewish people, and not just Jewish people, you know, people who are homosexual, people who are disabled, you know, political people, you know, other people, you know, Romani gypsies. They saw all this happening, where people were just treated so horrendous, murdered for such awful, you know, in such awful ways for nothing, just because of their colour of their skin or their faith, or, you know, it's just, you know, if you sit and think about how freaking awful it is, you just, you know, I can't even like begin to explain how sad, and it's just horrible feeling to think of what happened to all these innocent, wonderful people who, you know, had their lives taken away. And so in this book, the grandparents, you know, throughout the story, you know, you get to find out little bits of real history, you know, real history. And that part of the book really touched me. I love that bond that the character has with his family in general. And well, both characters actually have a bond with their families, but I don't know, there was just something about you know, his family that I really felt connected to. But yeah, it's a book about family. It's a book about, obviously, you know, dealing with hate. And this is the thing, like, this is actually based on a true story. This isn't just, I mean, obviously this book is fiction. Like, this is a made up story from the lovely author. However, it is based on a true story. It says here, this is the beginning of the story. Where is it? It said about, oh, here we go. What you're about to read is a fictionalized story based on actual assignment given to students at a New York high school education program. It's an assignment that could be given anywhere, any country, any school, even yours. Oh, this is lovely as well. It says here, for all the young adults across the globe who have the courage to speak out against any injustice, even when you're afraid, even when others are against you, and even when you have to stand against those who should have been your role models. You are lights illuminating darkness. This world needs you. It really is important that you know that this is a true story as well, because it actually happened. This teacher, you know, thought this awful idea, terrible idea for an assignment would be really good. He wanted to get some, like, you know, in-class acting, bring history to life. And obviously I do believe there is some things about bringing history to life in a class that would be good. You know, it makes it feel more real. You can learn from it. My teachers used to do it when I was at school. But then there's that kind of line you don't cross. Okay, you do not cross that line. And when I discovered, as I say, this was based on a true story, I was like, what? How could this have happened? How could this, you know? Anyway, so yeah, this horrible teacher, in my opinion anyway, this horrible teacher does this assignment, and these two lovely, amazing students stand up to him and they say, look, this isn't right. This, you know, you know, in the story, the two students are not Jewish. They're just two students, you know, and they just think that this assignment is awful. How can you argue that what the Nazis did was good? How can you argue that the final solution was, you know, good idea? You can't debate that. There's no right or wrong. It was wrong. There's no right side of it. It's wrong. So these students try and get everyone involved, and some people, you know, support them and think it's wrong, it's a terrible assignment. But then you see other people, you know, going completely the opposite, you know, and parts of the book, you know, were just awful. Reading some of the things that youth in this, you know, in this day and age were doing and saying, and it's just horrible. So anyway, I'm not going to ruin the story for you, but let's just say these two students are amazing. They stand up for what they believe in. You will read parts of it that will make you uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable reading certain parts of it, but it's good to feel uncomfortable because you know that that's making you think. You know that it's making you feel. When you read a book and, you know, the subject matter is obviously anti-Semitism, you will feel uncomfortable. You know, discrimination, racism, anti-Semitism, it's a horrible, you know, uncomfortable situation to be talked about and to be spoke about, but it needs to be addressed. It needs to be spoken about, because if it isn't, it just gets worse. You know, I get abuse so much on social media and YouTube, and I was saying that to the author in our little message, and I said, I get so much abuse for being Jewish, you know. And sometimes it's not that video where I've talked about Judaism or anything. I'm just literally wearing my necklace in a video, and I get horrible, horrible comments. And it, you know, if I'm getting it and I'm a no one, can you imagine how other people, you know, are going through it? And it needs to be discussed. It needs people to, like these students in the book, stand up to hate, get people to think, get people to feel, and get people to stand up to the nasty, hateful people out there. So, you know, also in this book, which I loved, was the friendship bond between the two main characters. I loved just, you know, seeing how their bond was just so strong and so caring for each other and so loving towards each other. There's a little bit of romance. I mean, this book, to me anyway, isn't a romance book as such. But there is a little bit of romance. If you like a little bit of romance, there is a little bit of romance in it. But to me, the main thing of the characters was the bond, the friendship bond, which is also a form of love. You know, love's not just a partner. You know, it can be friendship love, you know. And also of their families, and you get different sort of outlooks from different people, what they think, what they feel, how they respond to what's going on. It was just such a powerful book. And as I say, I'm not very good at doing this sort of thing, doing book reviews. It's really weird because I love reading so much, but whenever I try and do a book review or whatever, I go to pieces. I don't know what I'm talking about. I forget things, but I just wanted to kind of make some sort of video just to say, you know, shout out to this book, this Simon, because it's really good. But yeah, just a fantastic read. It's just so good. And I just, you know, I know that I can't give spoilers away, but let's just say that there's certain things that happened in real life that changed because of this assignment thing. Certain things weren't done anymore. And anyway, I'm not going to ruin it, but it's well worth a read. And, you know, as I say, if people were to be educated on what happened years ago and what's still happening now, you know, you see it, as I say, on social media, you see it, you know, on the news. There's so much hate everywhere. People hate this one, people hate that one. If we could just learn to, you know, share the love more and just be like more respectful and understanding. If you see someone who's going through some stuff, who's getting bullied because of their colour or their faith or whatever, you know, stick up for them. Use your vocals, use your social media presence, use anything to defend people, you know, support them. Don't let them just have to deal with it on their own. Reach out, help. Because this is what these two characters done in this book. They reached out and they made a difference. If you just sit there and say nothing, the hate's going to continue. But if more people did what these characters did, and in real life, obviously, I think there's the names, I don't know where it is now, but there were the names of the two people in real life, the two students who like did this for real. I don't know where it is. Hold on. Oh, I didn't see this bit. Look, there's a little thing here. I'll have a look at that in a minute. Oh, where is it? It said the two names. I can't find it now. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so an extraordinary series of events that led me to meeting Archer Shirtliff and Jordan April in 2016. The author met them. So yeah, I think that by the looks of it, they are the students that you know, inspired the author to write this. But yeah, it's really worth taking a look. Google it up. Learn about the real assignment as well as reading the actual fiction book. So yeah, I didn't see this bit at the back. It says, now that you've read the assignment, here are some questions to think about. So consider your initial reaction to the assignment when you finished reading the book. Did you have a different point of view? Actually, I probably shouldn't read this because if you haven't read it, it might give... Yeah, I won't do this bit. I'll do this for myself because obviously I don't want to give any spoilers. But yeah, it's one of those books that I think like a book group could do, or maybe a readathon or something, or just... you know, promote it on social media, talk about it. If you're a booktuber who just happens to be watching this video, talk about this book, read this book, talk about it, discuss, promote it, you know, because so many books are promoted these days. I see it and I'm like, you know, it could just be like a silly little not silly, that's wrong to say that, but just a, you know, a fantasy book, you know, that's lovely to read. I read a lot of fantasy, and they get so much promotion because it's, you know, it's the author's done it or it's the series or whatever. But what I believe needs more promotion sometimes is books like this, books like The Assignment, books that can actually help people to learn and to understand what happened then, what's happening now, how to move forward, how to be more supportive, how to stop the hate, how to show love and compassion to people. In my opinion, those books sometimes need a little more promotion than just, you know, the hottest new romance or the hottest new fantasy book. That's just my view. What do I know? But yeah, I'm going to take my glasses off now. It's probably a mark on my nose. Yep. Always get that. Anyway, listen, thank you for watching. Sorry I've rambled on. I don't normally do videos like this, do I? But I just, as I say again and again, I just wanted to give a big shout out and spread the word, well, help spread the word about this book. So yeah, please check it out. And if you do read the book, let me know what you thought about it. You know, drop me a line, email me, minxlaura123@gmail.com, or, you know, tweet me at minxlaura123, Instagram, message me, minxlaura123 on Instagram, and tell me what you thought of it, you know. So yeah, there we go. I feel really awkward now. I'm just sitting here like this, holding the book. But yeah, check it out, The Assignment. And yeah, truly wonderful book. Really, really touched me. Anyway, so that's the end of the video. As I say, if you're a bookworm, let me know what book you are currently reading. And are there any books that you've read recently that have had this kind of impact on you like this one has had on me? Like, have you read it and thought, wow? Because, you know, I've read some amazing books this year. Really, really good. You know, I think one of my favourite books this year was definitely Ninth House by Lee Bardugo. That was amazing. So many, you know. But this one, I don't know. This one got me. This one got me right there. So yeah, let me know if there's a book that you've read this year or recently that has really made you think, you know, stayed with you. You know, because sometimes I read a book and, you know, a few days later, as much as I've loved that book, my mind's on the next book, the next story, the next characters. But this one has not gone away. It's sort of stayed in here. And it's made me want to do even more to raise awareness, made me want to do even more to fight the hate. I already campaign against anti-Semitism on my Twitter. I do posts and stuff, and I help raise awareness and, you know, try and, you know, make people realise what happened in the Holocaust and how it should never happen again, how people should be more tolerant and understanding of different faiths and stuff. On my little Twitter picture, there's actually a campaign against anti-Semitism badge on there, which I keep on. And as I say, I always wear my necklace with pride. So there we go. Anyway, sorry if I've rambled on. Hope you've enjoyed the video. And honestly, if you read one book this year, please make sure it is The Assignment. And once again, thank you to the lovely author for being a wonderful person and a brilliant, brilliant writer who I hope will write loads more books and, you know, keep giving people those emotions by reading their books. Anyway, thanks for watching.